Now, and interesting when I'm going to drop this image that you had sent me as well.
Hmm.
Obviously, this is a representation of the Greek Athena.
Correct.
And she's always known. I mean, even in the modern movies, which weren't, the whole Clash of the Titans thing, which weren't necessarily great, great films themselves, they showed how heavily how important that owl was to her.
Yes. Well, the owl was very important to Athena because the owl guarded her blind side.
Yes,
That's
that's
why
right.
the
Yes.
and so that, yeah, it was so that it was very significant. And according to Greek culture or Greek mythology, when the soldiers went to battle and then they would see the owl would fly over them,
Mm-hmm.
they believed that was an establishment of victory.
Right. 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 That was going to be
Mm-hmm.
victory.
Yes.
Yeah, that was ultimately going to be victory. Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's a pretty that's a pretty powerful image. And I remember as a kid, watching the Clash of the Titans, and which was heavily influenced, which kind of got me into mythology. And they, instead of she said she would defy Zeus himself before she gave up her owl. Now we
That's
all
right.
know Athena wasn't no joke,
No.
and Zeus, you probably didn't really want it with her,
Right.
but
Right.
anytime Zeus gave a decree, because he was the king of the Greek pantheon, it's a big thing that she was like, nah, Zeus. That
It,
wasn't
it,
something she would have done lightly.
well, it's almost like taking away a person's eyes.
Right.
Because so that's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah.
So
And she did, I think even in the film, she expresses that, this is my best friend. This is
yes,
something that this is the most dearest living creature to me was her
exactly.
owl.
Right.
And so they fashion, if you guys remember the movie, they fashioned this metal. I think it's Hephaestus. It would have been
Yeah.
Hephaestus who fashions an owl out of metal to send to aid Perseus, and was still a very impactful character in that mythology, that more modern
Yes.
mythology of
Hmm.
Greek. Yeah, yeah. So the owl has always been represented, in a very powerful way.